Attack on Chief Minister's convoy, blockade on arterial national highways, bus carrying CRPF men set ablaze, temples and churches set on fire. Manipur, India's restive northeastern state adjoining Myanmar and Bangladesh, has been burning for more than a year now, with no signs of respite in sight. The ongoing turmoil in Manipur has been the subject of an intense political debate, with the opposition parties accusing the Modi government of mishandling the situation.
अब 1 साल से मणिपुर शांति की राह देख रहा है। उसके पहले 10 साल शांत रहा और अचानक जो कलह वहां पर उपज गया या उपजाया गया, उसकी आग में अभी तक जल रहा है, त्राही त्राही कर रहा है। कौन उस पर ध्यान देगा? प्राथमिकता देके उसका विचार करना ये कर्तव्य है।
But when BJP's ideological fountainhead RSS joins the chorus, even the hardcore supporters of the separate party start to give credence to the allegation that the Modi-Shah duo are looking the other way as Manipur continues to burn. The central government's lack of appetite for strict action against the terrorists is responsible for ongoing ethnic religious conflict that has claimed at least 250 lives and rendered around 50,000 people homeless so far. Manipur is infamous for recurring ethnic strifes and violence, but the ongoing conflict has become the cause of the second longest lasting suffering of the people after the 7-year devastation of Manipur that started in 1819. Back then, the Burmese Empire occupied Manipur, imposing chaos and anarchism in the kingdom. Now the Burmese intruders, drug lords and Kuki-Chin terrorists have turned Manipur into a war zone. In the past 16 months, the hill areas have been cleansed of Métis, and in retaliation, the valley has been rid of Kukis. To make things worse, the security forces have created a buffer zone between the hill region and the valley, inadvertently dividing the state into two parts. This is exactly what the Kukis have been demanding. They are demanding a separate state for themselves, as the Christian Kukis say they cannot and do not want to live with Meitei Hindus anymore. But it seems the demand for a separate state is just a facade. The Kuki-Chin population living across the border in Myanmar, Bangladesh's Chittagong Hill Tracts, and India's Manipur and Mizoram are strategically working towards carving out a Christian state in South Asia with the blessings of a Western power. Guess who is helping them with this dangerous design? Well, you got it right, it's Uncle Sam. Recently, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina dropped a truth bomb that a Western power is conspiring to create a Christian state similar to East Timor in South Asia. Hasina may have many shortcomings, but she is not the one to make reckless overstatements. The world, particularly India, needs to take the caution very seriously. Last month, Hasina had told a gathering of her 14-party ruling alliance in Dhaka that a white man had offered to help her win the January 7 elections in Bangladesh easily if she allowed a foreign country to set up a military air base in Bangladesh's territory. Without naming the nationality of the white man, she said the plan was to carve out an East Timor-like Christian nation from Bangladesh and Myanmar. For many years, Washington is believed to have been eyeing St. Martin's Island, a small island in northeastern part of the Bay of Bengal, about 9 kilometers south of the tip of Cox's Bazar Tenkaf Peninsula. Last year, Dhaka's political and bureaucratic circles were abuzz with a rumor that Washington is demanding St. Martin's Island in return for supporting Hasina-led Awami League government's smooth re-election. US State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller has, however, refuted the claim, saying US had no intention of taking control of St. Martin's Island. For the uninitiated, America's Democratic Party, led by President Joe Biden, has been plotting a regime change in Bangladesh. Initially, they were punting on Nobel-winning economist and banker Muhammad Yunus, apparently because he is very close to the Clintons, Obamas, and Gates. The DP state has now widened its net for identifying other suitable pawns. Feelers are being sent to senior politicians from the Awami League and its opposition BNP, including Hasina's colleagues and confidants. Though Hasina named only Myanmar and Bangladesh in her speech, the ongoing disturbance in India's Manipur, spearheaded by transnational Kuki-Zo terrorists and global drug cartels, is a telltale sign of a larger conspiracy. So have the Western powers secretly joined hands with regional militant groups like the Kuki-Chin National Front, KNF, and United Liberation Front of Assam, ULFA. For many years, Christian missionaries and Western NGOs have been working in the border areas of Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar and pumping in money for mass conversion of Hindus, Muslims and Buddhists in these areas. Like the Pak-sponsored jihadis supported by a large section of local Muslims are waging a war against India to carve out an Islamic state, the Khalistani terrorists are also trying to create a separate state for Sikhs. On the same lines, the Kuki-Zo terrorists are fighting against Indian Union to fulfill their secessionist dream of creating a Christian state in the northeastern part of the country. So why are these people hell-bent on balkanizing India by creating theocratic states? The answer lies in demographic dominance. In the last 100 years, northeastern India has faced massive demographic changes brought about by the rampant conversion of hill tribes by Christian missionaries and their eventual alienation from the faith of their forefathers. As per 2011 census, Hindus constitute 53% of Manipur's population, while 40% are Christian and the rest are Muslims. From 96% in 1901, Hindu population in Manipur dwindled to 81% in 1951. What happened in the next 50 years under the watch of Nehru-Gandhi family sounds alarming. From 1961 to 2011, the Hindu population plummeted to 30%, thanks to India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and his daughter Indira Gandhi's dalliance with the missionaries that got a free run and state patronization to carry out rampant soul harvesting of the tribes in the entire Northeast. In this light, the 2023 ethnic violence which erupted in Manipur between the Hindu majority Meiteis from the valley and the Christian converted Kuki-Zo tribe from the hills is worrisome. If that was not enough, US globalist and India baiter George Soros is funding the Kuki terrorists taking peace for ransom in Manipur. The US government provides so-called non-lethal support to Myanmar's resistance forces led by Aung San Suu Kyi against the China-backed military junta. The US has been fancying a pliant Christian country stretching from the Chittagong port in Bangladesh to Kyakpu in Myanmar's Rakhine state. Interestingly, the Chinese oil pipeline to Yunnan starts from Kyakpu. The Jinping regime has invested billions in development of Sitwe port in Rakhine province, from where the Rohingyas were displaced. The US reportedly wants Sitwe port as part of the planned Christian nation. So is the Modi government serious enough in dealing with lethal cross-currents in restive Northeast? Unfortunately, Modi 3.0 seems to be making the same mistake that Modi-Shah duo made in 2023. Like before, the army doesn't have a free hand to act against terrorists and troublemongers. Home Minister Amit Shah recently said that he would make Meiteis and Kukis sit across the table to resolve the ethnic conflict. First up, it's not an ethnic conflict, it is an ethno-religious conflict. Secondly, it's not a conflict between Kukis and Meiteis. It is a conflict between the Indian state and the transnational Kuki-Zo terrorist outfits funded by drug lords, India baiters like George Soros and the omnipresent Western power. After Hasina's statement, it has become amply clear that the US is incubating an independent Zo state. Interestingly, the Kuki-Chin Mizo people have in recent years started calling themselves collectively as Zo people. They are now aspiring for Zogam, or a homeland for the Zo people, comprising large parts of the Chin state of Myanmar, the Indian state of Mizoram, and Kuki-dominated areas of Manipur and Bandarban district and adjoining areas of Bangladesh's Chittagong division. Barring Mizoram, all these pockets contiguous to each other are witnessing militancy by Kuki-Chin terror groups. In Myanmar, the Chinland Joint Defense Committee, a joint body formed by the Chin National Army CNA, Chinland Defense Force CDF, and the Chin National Defense Force CNDF, is waging a deadly armed struggle against the Myanmarese junta. In Bangladesh, the Kuki-Chin National Front KNF has carried out acts of terror in Bandarban district and surrounding areas of Chittagong division. In India, Kuki terror outfit Kuki National Army KNA, Kuki National Front KNF, Kuki Liberation Army KLA have been carrying out killings, kidnappings and extortions in Manipur. These outfits are closely involved in ongoing ethnic strife in the northeastern state. The Kukis are demanding a separate state for themselves carved out of the Kuki-dominated hill districts of Manipur. Mind you, almost all the Zo people claiming common ethnicity, be it Kukis, Chins or Mizos, are Christians. Take the case of Mizoram-based Zo Reunification Organization ZRO. Its primary goal is unifying all Zo-inhabited areas across India, Myanmar and Bangladesh. It is not surprising that ZRO enjoys widespread support in Mizoram. Not only that, the Zo homeland demand is endorsed by Mizoram's ruling Zoram People's Movement ZMP and also the opposition parties Mizo National Front MNF and Congress's state unit. As per the Indian and Bangladeshi intel officers, church bodies, especially US headquartered Baptist Church, are pursuing a long-term project of encouraging the formation of a Christian state inhabited by the Zo people. It is an open secret that the church organizations are linked closely with US intelligence agencies like the CIA. So why does the US fancy a Christian state in South Asia? To understand this, let's look at the power play in the region. Myanmar is a Buddhist majority country, but China exerts extreme influence on this junta-ruled, strife-torn nation. As for Bangladesh, it's a Muslim majority country alienated from the US because the Joe Biden administration tried to exert overt influence over Bangladesh's internal affairs. Though Hindu majority India is a strategic ally of the USA, it has traditionally acted in its own national interest, defying Uncle Sam's diktats on several occasions. Unable to find a firm ally in South Asia, the US started the Unified Zo Homeland Project to play a decisive role in the region. For now, only one powerful group in Mizoram is voicing the Zo homeland demand that is endorsed by all political parties in the state. But Kuki-Chin groups in Manipur, Myanmar or Bangladesh are careful not to voice this demand publicly because it can lead to immediate backlash. Instead, they are focusing on building their military might to prepare for the final push, a coordinated and intense offensive against security forces in Manipur, Myanmar and Bangladesh. This might sound like fantasy, but it is a fact that the Kuki-Chin groups are amassing weapons in Bangladesh and making strategic alliances with Islamic terror groups like Jamatul Ansar fil Hindal Sharqiya. The Kuki-Chin militants and terror groups in Myanmar, Manipur and Chittagong share close fraternal ties. They are involved in cultivation of opium and trafficking of drugs. High on astronomical proceeds from drugs, the terror groups are busy stockpiling weapons. Flush with funds, the overground frontal organizations of these terror groups can easily create and drive false narratives in the national and global media, including on social media, alleging persecution of Christian Kuki-Chin Zo people by Buddhist Myanmarese regime, Buddhist Chakmas and Islamic Bangladesh. In Manipur, the Kukis have been successful in projecting themselves as victims of religious persecution at the hands of Métis in Hindu-majority India. Many Christian communities and groups across the world have already started extending support to Kukis in Manipur and Bangladesh. This support will only increase as the Kuki-Zo militants launch more offensives. This will trigger harsher counter-offensives and prompt the exodus of more and more Kuki-Zo people from Bangladesh's Chittagong and Myanmar's strife-torn states to neighboring Mizoram on the Indian side. Very likely that will create an uproar internationally and invoke intervention of the US and other Western powers who played a similar role in the secession of East Timor from Indonesia for alleged persecution of Christians by a Muslim majority country in 1999. For the uninitiated, countries like East Timor, South Sudan and Kosovo emerged in the 21st century as a result of religion-based population imbalance. These three countries, like Manipur, also had histories of conflict rooted in ethnicity and religion. But will the complacent-looking Modi-Shah duo be able to take the bull by its horn and derail the sinister design? If you like this video, please share it with your family and friends. Please subscribe to our channel for more serious and well-researched content on country, culture and civilization.